I heard they walked him out right after the meeting.
He completely lost it when they told him.
8:22 a.m. in San Francisco, the room went completely silent the moment Andrew Cole said the words, "You're not leadership material," and everyone turned to look at Noah Bennett, because that wasn't feedback, that was a public ending, and for a split second it felt like the air had been pulled out of the room. But Noah didn't argue, didn't defend himself. He just nodded once and said, "Understood," which made it worse because people expected anger, emotion, something. But instead, he picked up his things and walked out while quiet whispers followed him. Because in that moment, everyone believed the same thing. He wasn't good enough. But what no one in that room knew was that this wasn't the first time Andrew had dismissed him, because 6 months earlier, Noah had pitched an idea, something bold, something risky, and Andrew had shut it down instantly, calling it unrealistic, saying it would fail before it even started. And that moment stayed with Noah, not as pain, but as a question he couldn't ignore. What if he was wrong? And that question followed him out of the building that day, into long nights, into uncertainty, into silence. Because instead of chasing another job, Noah disappeared completely. No updates, no announcements, nothing. And that's when things got difficult, because the idea didn't magically work. It failed repeatedly. Investors said no, money ran out, doubt crept in, and there were nights he sat in the dark staring at his screen, wondering if Andrew had been right all along. And this is where most people quit. But Noah didn't, not because he was confident, but because he had already been dismissed once, and he refused to let that be the final version of his story. And slowly, something shifted. One small win turned into another. One investor said yes, then traction followed, then growth, and before anyone realized what was happening, the idea that had been rejected became a company people started paying attention to, then respecting,
then competing with, and 2 years later, Noah Bennett walked into a glass office again, but this time it had his name on it, and as he reviewed a list of new hires, one name made him stop completely: Andrew Cole. And for a moment, everything came rushing back. The words, the room, the silence. And right there, he had a choice. Ignore it, reject it, or do something no one would expect. And he said, schedule the interview. And when the day came, Andrew walked in, confident, composed, expecting just another opportunity, until he looked up and froze. Because sitting across from him was Noah, not the employee he once dismissed, but the man who now controlled the room. And suddenly, the silence felt different, heavier, real. And Noah didn't rush it, didn't speak immediately. He just let the moment sit. Because some realizations don't need explanation, they need time. And then he said quietly, "You once told me I wasn't leadership material." And Andrew looked down, unable to respond. And then Noah added, "I believed you, for a while." And that pause mattered because it showed something real, something human. And then came the twist, because Noah didn't reject him, didn't humiliate him. He said, "You're hired." And for a second, it looked like mercy, until Noah finished the sentence. "But this time, you'll learn how to build what you once dismissed." And in that moment, everything came full circle, not with anger, not with revenge, but with something far more powerful: control. Because Noah didn't just prove him wrong, he became undeniable. So tell me, if you were Noah, would you have hired him or left him behind completely? If you enjoyed this story, subscribe for more high-impact revenge and comeback stories, and comment where you're watching from: USA, UK, Canada, or Australia. And I'll bring you the next one even more darker and intense.